Well, you read the title. What's the point in the long introductions? Just let's get straight to the point and answer the question, is Battlefield 2042 worth it right now? And the answer is, well, depending on the price you're buying it. If you're here on a sale and you are buying this game for sub $10, then yes, it's worth a try. Any other time, just go and get any other Battlefield game. You are gonna have even more blast from Battlefield 4 than from this game. But now let me get into the details and why do I think so. Battlefield for 2042, for the ones who doesn't know, is the multiplayer first-person shooter. And it's entirely focusing on large-scale battles in the near future. The main selling points of the game were actually three main selling points. First, the fact that it was happening in the near future, which gave you access to more tech and things like that, which was supposed to be much more fun to use. Second is a large-scale battles. For the first time, you're gonna have 128 players on a single map, which was supposed to be an absolute chaos, which it kinda is. And the third is a portal mode, which basically allowed you to play all main eras of Battlefield within one single game. That's 1942 era, Battlefield 3 era, and Battlefield the Bad Company 2 era alongside 2042 as well. So let me break these main selling points one by one and tell you whether they're good things or not. Well, let's start with the futuristic setting. And actually, this is not a bad part. You have a lot of new tech and new things, new vehicles that are happening in the near future that are not really far from the things that we have right now. Just feels like that in that time they will become more mainstream. And that more or less ties with the specialist system of the game. Specialist is a new class system of the game, which kind of works like a sub classes. You still have main four classes of the game: assault, engineer, recon, and support, and each specialist ties with each class. And main difference is that they have different gadgets. One specialist may have a grappling hook or a riot shield, and it gives you like some additional gadgets to play with. And many players actually absolutely hated it, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's not that bad. Yes, there are some balancing issues and things like that still years after the release, but I don't think that the main issue with this game was a specialist system. It's quite fun and you're gonna enjoy it quite a lot. Now, getting into 128 player matches, well, this is where pure chaos begins. And yeah, I don't mean in a good way. 128 players is too many players on a single map. That's 64 against 64 players, and despite maps are huge in this map with a bunch of different objectives, doesn't matter, most players will still zerg on a few objectives and it will be complete and utter chaos. And unless you are a really skilled player, you're not gonna have fun there. You're literally going to be a mid-fodder there. People will grind you down over and over again, and you will never understand where you're getting shot from, and you will never get shot from same players twice because there are simply way too many players. If you are a skilled player, you're gonna have quite a lot of fun because you will learn how to navigate this chaos. But unless this is your main game that you're playing constantly, it will take some time to get there. When you will, yes, it will be fun, but until then, yeah, prepare to be killed over and over and over and over and over again just to get killed by someone all across the map without you even realizing what killed you. 64 players is absolute max number of players that this game needs, and this is still the mix of absolute chaos and still some structure. And the last main point of the game was the portal system, and they screwed this one as well, because you know why? Because unless you do an actual digging, it will be quite difficult for you to find out which era of the Battlefield you're playing in. Well, when you get into the game, yes, it will be obvious that which era you're playing, but because the UI completely sucks in this game, it's going to be some time until you actually get used to it. But not gonna lie, the fact that you can play in those eras and you have your own weapons there, your own progressions there, it's quite fun and absolutely enjoyed and loved it. But none of those things that I told you was not the reason why this Battlefield was my least favorite Battlefield of all. None of those reasons were it. The reasons were completely different, starting with none other than performance issues. I have played Battlefield 4, the notorious, the worst launch of Battlefield history on launch, and even then I did not have that much stutters and performance issues. It's becoming completely utterly unplayable. So much so that when you start shooting, you actually hear the gaps between your shots widening and shortening because of how laggy the game is. And I'm not even talking about 128 player matches. Even on 64 players, it's absolutely laggy. The performance is all over the place. No matter what graphical settings you're playing in, it kind of is jarring for me. And I played all the time at lowest ping possible to alleviate this. And I even tested other Battlefield games to check out whether it was issue with my internet or not. And it was not. It was issue with this game. And yeah, this thing is not happening all the time, but it's happening often enough to stop me from playing after one or two matches at max. And because this game requires quite high skill, it's, well, game breaking for me. And it will be for many as well. And even that's not all. Probably the biggest thing for me was actual feel of the game. Battlefield games are absolutely one of my most played games ever. I played the crap of Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Battlefield 1, and those were my favorite multiplayer shooters of all time, and I played them extensively. And the main selling point for me in those games against other games in that genre like Call of Duty games was the weight of the shots, with the weight of the guns, was weight of your character, how it all felt, how it all sounded. It felt very heavy, very realistic, and in case of Battlefield 1, it also felt very terrifying. Here, it feels exactly like you're playing Call of Duty. Maybe a little bit slower, but still, it feels way too fast. I don't mean that it's necessarily bad, but it does not feel like Battlefield game for me. Battlefield 3, 4, 1, and I played a little bit of 5, not that much, but still felt quite heavy. This one is not. I don't know, maybe specialists in the future had some special juice that buffed them up and made them very fast and the animation is very quick, but it feels like that everything in the game is accelerated at around maybe 10 to 15%, and it does not give you time to actually feel the weapons, feel the animations, feel the weight, feel the movement. It does not feel right. It felt very jarring for me. But because I actually tested other Battlefield games as well, it was just sad for me that this does not give me the same feeling. It was just absolutely sad. Also, game does not feature any type of single player campaign. Yes, single player wasn't never a strong suit of Battlefield games, but it was still a good thing to have when we did, especially with Battlefield 1 and even with Battlefield 5, but here it's completely gone. Yes, you can play solo and co-op against bots, but basically that's the same multiplayer matches but against the bots, but it's not the same. And price wise, yes, game can go at very deep discount, and I'm recording this when it was in its deepest discount for $4.79, but it goes often on sub $10 sales. If you're gonna get this game at this price, just get it to try it and test it, just to understand whether it's a thing for you or not. But if you want the real Battlefield experience, go and get any other Battlefield. Get Battlefield 1 or even maybe Battlefield 4. Despite Battlefield 4 being full of cheaters, it's still much better experience than this is. At least it was for me. And this video is sponsored by channel's partner and supporter, Instant Gaming. If you want best games for the best prices all the time, all year round, without waiting for any sales, Instant Gaming is the way to go. You can find all types of games for all the different platforms, and most importantly, for the cheapest prices possible. And I also partner with Instant Gaming for epic game giveaway of your choice. So click the link in the description down below for your chance to win. Thanks to Instant Gaming for their support, and now let's get back to the video. And if you're interested in Battlefield games, you might be interested in COD as well, and my review of COD Black Ops 6 that you can watch right here. Or maybe you like different types of first-person shooters like Gunfire Reborn, which you can watch my review of right here as well. Don't forget to subscribe right here as well. This will be for Dave, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care.